big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
I'm going to turn this pile of cheap meat into Germany's favorite recipe. One of the most popular dishes that is made in Germany is Schichtfleisch, and there's a good reason for it, because it's tasty, it is juicy, and the cool thing is, it is very, very cheap to make. Traditionally, Schichtfleisch is made with chops, pork chops. But pork chops are getting expensive too, well, not super expensive, but more and more expensive. And therefore, I found an alternative that is still extremely cheap and is going to be just as good or maybe even better. I'm talking about this. This is the end of the pork's leg. In the Netherlands, it is marinated and cooked for a long time, and it's called oerhammetjes. It basically is a shank with the heel bone still in. Now you can decide to cut off these floppy bits and just leave the attached meat on, but I'm going to use the whole thing. It might not look like much, and that's why it's cheap, but wait until you see the end result. And to make Schichtfleisch, you need a Dutch oven just like this. The obviously main feature of the Dutch oven that it's made out of cast iron, which makes it pretty heavy, and therefore it has a lot of weight and mass to it. And that weight and mass absorbs energy and then slowly gives it off to your food. Another great way to recognize a good stewing pan is these little knobs that sit on the bottom of the lid. The moisture from the cooking will go up, condensate onto the lid, and then drop down again from these little nipples.
Nipples?
Yes, nipples. Nipples that keep your meat moist. Another feature that I absolutely love about this pan is that there's ledges on the top of it. So if I want, I can place little chunks of ember on top of the pan, and the ledges will keep the ember on the lid, turning it truly into an oven in which you can have top and bottom heat, which is perfect for if you want to cook a bread. Probably we're burning holes in the table. Oh, oops. I love this pan, and this one is my favorite. It's a Skottsberg pan. If you're looking for one of these, I'll put the link down below in the video description. If you want, you can pick one up. It's an Amazon link, an affiliate link. We make a little bit of money out of that. It won't cost you more money, but it will put some in our pocket, which helps the channel. So, and if you have these two elements, the meat and the pan, you've already done the hardest part. Because from now on, it's just a walk in the park. I'm going to layer the outside of the pan with bacon. And the bacon is an extra protective layer for the meat not to burn, and at the same time adds a lot of flavor. Because bacon tastes like salt and smoke. I'm going to take a whole net of onions, peel them, and then slice them into rings. I'm going to make a layer at the bottom of the pan because onions taste great and are super cheap. And of course I'm going to need a red and a yellow bell pepper, which I'm going to cut open, and look! A baby! Aww. One slice fine, I'm gonna put them on top of the onions, and now my pan is all set up. Now it's time to get these pork shanks ready to go into the pan. There's a little bone inside here that I wanna keep, because that's gonna be the handle that I'm gonna be eating these things all out. I can already see myself tearing into one. Of course, they're gonna need some seasoning, and therefore I'm gonna use the PitmasterX classic barbecue rub, of which you can find the recipe on our website, PitmasterX.com. It's totally free. Go check it out. Links down below. I'm going to set these straight up into the pan, folded close, with all of that seasoning sitting in there, loading up the pan completely. Look at that. Perfectly snug. Now you might think we're done, but we're not. Keep in mind, this is going to be cooked for a long time. And if we cook it like this, there's no moisture to keep it like moist and juicy, to be the cooking fluid. So I'm gonna add my last and final ingredient. Barbecue sauce. Of course we gotta have our barbecue sauce. It's a bit cold outside, so it's drizzling out a little slow. But I'm just gonna take 2 of these giant bottles and put all of the barbecue sauce in the pan. Now all I need to do is fold in the bacon and put this on the fire. I'm gonna be cooking on my Napoleon grill, and I'm gonna fire up the 2 left burners. I just want this barbecue to come up to temperature, and I want the pan to come up to temperature and all of the mass of the meat. And once it's up there, I'm gonna lower the heat back down to a slow simmer, because all that meat needs is just a gentle heat and a lot of time. Time to put the pan on, and this thing is super heavy. Oh, loads and loads of meat, just look at it. It just makes me happy. Loads and loads of meat, because it means loads and loads of food. I think Germans in general eat really well. They like lots and lots. Ever seen a German guy? I'm gonna close the lid and check back in a half an hour or so. 2 hours have gone by since putting the Napoleon on the lowest setting. Now let's take a look at our pan and its content. Whoa! Look at that! That is a pot filled with happiness. You know that leprechaun that is sliding down the rainbow looking for that pot of gold? Well, this is what that pot of gold looks like. No rainbow, but definitely a pot of gold. The bacon crispened up nice on top. All of that meat released its juiciness together with the onions and the bell peppers. Now they sit bubbling away in the fluids. This is a pan filled with flavor. Look at that. Whoa. Let's take a look at this. It is still super hot. Whoa. Super tender. Still too hot to bite into, but look at that meat. Cooked through. Ready to be pulled, almost falls off. Look at that. Whee.
What's that sound?
It's my cat, Lixie. The cat's special. The cats want something too. Normally we keep the cat in the house for a good reason, but today it's out because of the sun. So many regrets, but this is not one of them. Oh. Wow, bacon and onion. Forget about Schichtvlees 1.0. Try Schichtvlees 2.0. I can't believe we didn't make this before. I can't believe it. Yeah, it's freaking delicious. Yeah, I feel like this show is getting more and more about animals and less about the food. They're taking over.